Well, good morning. It's Robert Vernon here, and today I want to tell everybody my story about how I become an entrepreneur and where it all started. So I guess I'm going to start with my childhood. When I was a kid, I was in Boy Scouts. I loved Boy Scouts, and the first time any kind of entrepreneurial bent came out of me, we were going camping. My dad, I think, was taking the whole troop to Horse Thief Lake, which is behind Mount Rushmore, outside of Rapid City, South Dakota. So we were living there at the time, and the whole troop was going camping. And my dad loved telling this story, especially when I was an adult. Well, I had the bright idea of thinking about, well, what would these boys not be bringing? What would they not think about that they would love to have? So I thought, how about Oreos? I've always loved Oreos, so I thought I'll bring a bunch of Oreos and toilet paper. I thought, well, probably they would forget about toilet paper. So I brought, I don't know, 3, 4 rolls, whatever. And I went on the camping trip. Well, sure enough, I sold out of everything. The Oreos sold for 3 for a quarter. Now, this was a long time ago. So I made a ton of money, and I sold the toilet paper because the boys didn't bring toilet paper. My dad howled at that story. So that was the first time I was really an entrepreneur and set up shop for the troop. So from then, I graduated from high school, went to college and everything, and soon I was working for a newspaper, then some commercial printing companies and things like that. Well, I thought, you know what, I could do this. So I had a buddy, he had some money and he invested in a printing press. We opened a printing company outside of Boulder, Colorado. It was called Prismatic Litho. What a name, huh? I had ski poles. They were prismatic ski poles. I love those poles. So I named the company after my ski poles. And we did okay. We had a Heidelberg press, and it was really good quality. I landed some nice accounts, but knew nothing about business. So after about 4 years, we closed up. And then I went to work for other people after that for about 15 years and really watched. I watched what they did. I was really fortunate enough. Went to work for a very successful company, Johnson Publishing. And Mr. Johnson was so kind to me. He allowed me to experiment with, at the time, desktop publishing, was using computers and printing and all that, and did pretty well for him. We actually landed a Star Wars contract using that computer, the Macs and everything, and actually did work inside of IBM with my Macs, which was a blasphemy for IBM, but they would sneak me in the side door at night, absolutely true story, on the diagonal in Boulder, and myself and a couple of my team members, we would work on all these charts and diagrams for Star Wars. I had locked briefcases, I had safes to keep everything in, I had to have a security clearance, and I love this about the project. Excuse me. They'd ask for something, and I'd say, well, that really can't be done, not in a time frame, and they'd go, well, no, you don't understand. How much? How much will that cost? So anyway, long story short, I made a ton of money for the company and got to experiment with all the computers I wanted and had a great time. And then I went to another company and started an electronics publishing department. Did well for them. Got married, and my wife Sandra got pregnant. And, I had decided to go out on my own. Yeah, I didn't have anything. I had a computer. And I rented a little space. I think I rented 200 square feet from a lady I knew. She had some great equipment. She let me use it at night, so I didn't get in her way. And I was imaging film with lasers and that sort of thing. I'll never forget, on my first day on the job, I have no money, no clients. I'm in a 200 square foot space. And Sandra calls and says she's pregnant with our first daughter, Marnie. And man, I went out and got one of those big brick cell phones, and I got busy selling and did pretty good. We built that company up. That was Digital World in Denver, and we built that up to about 35 people in 3 locations in 6 years. I think at our tops we did about $3 million in revenue. It was awesome, and everybody was really pursuing to buy the company. we were early into web development, multimedia presentations. I mean, this is, mid 90s. I mean, we were early. We were so early. There weren't even dynamic websites at the time. We got Cold Fusion, and my partner Dan really did a good job with it. Really got it going and everything. So we had some success there. And we eventually rolled that company. Well, our company turned into 3 companies. It was Digital World Images, pre-press and film, Digital World Media. It was web stuff and CD-ROM presentations, that sort of thing. And we had Digital World Audio, which was a full-blown recording studio. Anyway, we sold all those. Actually, rolled them up with 4 other companies in New York, and created a really big digital printing company. We started out about $48 million in revenue, and by the time I left, we were up to about $100 million in revenue. I was named CTO, Senior Vice President. I was on the board, and really had a good run with that till they wanted to go public with some technology we brought with us from Denver. We were amongst the first to develop web to print, which Vistaprint's based on, and so many of the super printers use that technology. We were very, very early, and at any rate, we had, of course, the technology bubble burst and some other things, but got out of that and then started the company I have now, Digital Arts Imaging, and we call it Digital Arts, and we do mainly window and wall graphics for global brands nationwide, and getting ready to launch a couple other things. Coaching and consulting business. I've got a Photoshop course going. Just really transitioning from making stuff so much to really being knowledge and information based. That's where it's all going. So anyway, that's kind of the history of my entrepreneurial journey. I love it. I love customers, taking care of people, helping people. I'm hoping I can help you. Anyway, so that's kind of my story about how I got in business, and I mean that's obviously very, very abridged and abbreviated, and many things have happened. I've been through many experiences and worked with some just phenomenal people, and for some phenomenal people. But anyway, if I can help you in any way, I sure hope you consider it. That's my story, Robert Vernon, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.